What's up, guys? Welcome to Nuance and Nonsense. This episode, we don't have a guest. It's just gonna be me and Shani.
We have to catch you up on some things. So.
It's gonna be me and Shani, and we're just gonna catch you up on a couple things, like our move to Los Angeles. We're in this new house that we live in now, and yeah. So, do you want to talk about that first?
Yeah. So. I'm from Illinois, but I've lived in St. Louis area since 2016 when I graduated from college. I got an internship in St. Louis, and then I've just had my career there ever since. My career is in marketing, so I really couldn't live back where I'm from, which is a really small town. There's not a lot of marketing
Not a lot of markets.
Not a lot of markets. Not a lot of marketing opportunities. And then Sam is originally from Los Angeles, and he went to college in St. Louis at WashU. And then when he graduated, he decided to just stay because I was there, and I think also he just really loved St. Louis. And we wanted to just save money and work on things like our podcast and focus on that. And then, but we've always wanted to live in California. His family's from here. I really wanted to live here because of the weather. I get really bad winter blues, especially during this pandemic was really hard because, no one's doing anything. You can't meet up with your friends really much anymore. You can't go to restaurants. There's not anything really going on. So you're just, during the summer and the spring, I stayed sane because I would go on long walks or we would go on hikes. But with the winter, it's too cold to do that. So it was really hard on me. And then we had this really great opportunity to live in this house with a friend of Sam's, and we would have been stupid to not do it. So we're here.
Yep. And part of us moving here was to kind of change things up, and there's going to be some interruptions because we have 4 dogs.
We're watching 4 dogs.
We have both of our dogs, and then we have our roommates. They have 2 dogs, and they're out of town right now. But part of us moving here was also, I think, to, like I said, take a leap of faith and kind of change things up. So I took a new job where I'm working for a tech company, but it's fully remote, but doing that here. And Shani, which is more exciting.
Silicon Valley startup.
Shani, which I think is more exciting, is going to be focusing on kind of her own brand and her own marketing consulting and some photography and some cool stuff. So yeah, that's what we're doing now.
And there's a lot of opportunity here for both of our fields that we're in.
I was kind of joking before, but literally it's a market, there's a huge market for whatever. If you want to do wedding photography, there's way more people having weddings and wanting to pay for photographers here than St. Louis even, but Carthage especially, which is where Shani's from. But yeah, so we just got here less than 2 weeks ago, but we're really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Where we live is really awesome because it feels very residential, which I like. I don't like living on a commercial street with too much commotion, but at the same time, I want to be not too far from all of that. And we literally live 5 minutes from anything you could imagine. My favorite place to eat is Cheesecake Factory, and we live 5 minutes from a Cheesecake Factory. So that is not good for us because we pig out and we eat tons of bread, and then he gets this huge plate of nachos. One time,
they have really good nachos right now. For anyone who doesn't know, Cheesecake Factory is the best I love nachos, and I get them I get them at all the Mexican places and stuff, but they're way better at cheesecake.
Do you want to tell them the story of me and the waitress and the nachos?
No, what did she thought that I just wanted that?
No, they brought them out, and I forgot that someone was even at our table, and I go, holy shit. Because the plate is like this big. And I knew it was just like his appetizer. And she like thought it was the funniest thing ever. I like made her day.
Yeah. That was so genuine. Yeah, we live in a cool space. We could just talk about this for a little bit. I mean, it's interesting if anyone's interested in our lives. We live in Los Angeles. I just said the part of Los Angeles we live in, but Shani said we should cut it out. I think it's a good idea. And where we live, it's a quiet street. It has a nice little area where I can skateboard, and it's close to a freeway. I won't say which one, but
and we live by the river.
Yes, we do. I didn't know if I could say that, but we live by the
Isn't
LA.
the river like probably?
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, but we live by the LA River. We live on the LA River actually, and so there's actually, which for anyone who doesn't know, the LA River it's not really a river. It's like a concrete channel with like a little stream. So I don't know.
But what's really nice about it is it makes more privacy because we don't have neighbors on that side, and then there's like a dirt path on one side where you can just like walk the dogs or whatever, and then there's like an actual like bike path on the other side where we can skateboard. For me, I'm like a beginner skateboarder, so I have to have a really smooth path. Otherwise I might fall because every time I skateboard I fall. And then I love it because there's like this little stepping area over there, and I just like do little workouts on the step, and I don't know, it's a really great place to work out, I think.
Yeah.
Away from the dogs, because when we have a huge yard, which we're so lucky to have, because we didn't even have that in St. Louis, like a fenced in yard for the dogs. And, for like most people, when they think to moving to Los Angeles, they would probably be like, no way you're getting a big yard. And then our first place ever has like such a nice yard. Yeah. And that's really what we love most about the house, because both of us love being outside, and like being able to have to like play with the dogs is really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got really lucky. My friend Dom's, I went to college with, he's a really close friend of mine, and he basically just is being very lenient with us and charging us a pretty cheap rent, I would say, for what we're getting. And otherwise, we wouldn't be able to just the two of us live in a nice area with a big piece of property, because the lot itself is about average, I would say, but the house is pretty small, which I actually like because there's just a lot of outdoor space. And then there's the garage, so where I've been working, and like we said, the river.
And he's gonna redo the garage and make like a movie theater, and so that'll be nice to have that extra space.
Yeah. So it's been cool. It's been cool so far.
The neighbors weird. The neighbors all seem really nice.
Yeah, it's just a very nice family neighborhood, you know.
We had an accident the other day where someone coming over to see our roommate like didn't fully shut the door to the gate, and three of the four dogs got out. And Dylan actually, he has a collar that says his name, but he didn't have our contact information. And this lady who knows Dom's, because he's super friendly to all the neighbors, she brought him over and was like, "Is this your dog?" And so she was literally just an angel. Like, it was, God was watching over us, because, like, I feel like Sam and I would be crying for weeks.
Yeah.
Months, years, maybe, if anything happened to Dylan.
Yeah.
And since we live so close to a freeway, too, that could just be really bad. Especially if my dog got out, because I feel like she would just run right in a freeway and not... Like, if there was someone trying to get her, she would just run away from them, versus Dylan's super friendly, but...
Yeah.
So, thank the Lord. He's really helped us through this whole journey and process, and it's been a total God thing that we were able to even do this.
Yeah. It has. We prayed about it, and ask God if it was the right thing to do, and I think it definitely is.
I honestly always wanted to wait till marriage to move in with someone, because there's like the statistic that if you move in together before marriage, it's more likely to end in a divorce, which is kind of the opposite you would think. And I talked with my preacher when I was in high school about it, like, why is that? And he was like, I think it's just because if you are living together, his guess is that sometimes if you're doing everything a married couple does, like living together, then sometimes marriage will feel no different. And we're very disposable with our relationships in America, in this society. People tend to just...
I'm laughing at this dog over here.
He's trying to get
it's been hard to film the podcast so far.
It's been very hard, but
it's all good. Which I didn't know that when you told me that like a while ago, over a year ago, but I didn't know that.
And I think it's just because, like, in our society we're very disposable with just breaking up with people. And in a marriage, you can't just do that. Like, anytime you're mad at someone, anytime there's a huge challenge, you can't just break up with someone. And if your marriage doesn't feel any different than your dating, then you may act like it's just as disposable. And that's just his theory. And so I was very hesitant to, like, live with someone before marriage. But we're not ready to get married yet. I mean, if we had all the money in the world, we would probably do it. I mean, not now because of the pandemic, but there's no rush to do that. I really want to focus on my own goals right now. I don't want to be planning a wedding, and I know he's the same way. So, I think that since we have roommates, I think that like one day when we live together, it will feel different.
Yeah.
When we're
it's felt different the past 2 days when they've been gone.
Yeah.
It's been nice. But definitely it's felt different. Yeah.
Kind of a deep topic.
Yeah. We can jump into the other topics. Yeah. So, this first one in tech. So we're gonna kind of go through our normal topics like we used to. Well, we still plan on doing this, but we just lately have had guests for like the past 6 episodes.
For the most part, we want to have guests on, but we enjoy doing this kind of style as well, because I feel like you can really get to know me and Sam more when we do these podcasts versus when we have guests. You don't really get to hear about us.
And I also think, with a guest, we'll talk about a lot of things about the guests and kind of their world, but a lot of our guests have been like, we talk about their profession. Like with Max, we talked about comedy, and we went really deep about comedy. So I kind of like going back to this style because we can kind of get a little bit of each thing and just discuss it. And if, for the audience, maybe you hear something new or interesting or something you already knew about, but you get our take on it, whatever. So yeah, this first one, tech, it's not news necessarily, but that's not what we do. I wanted to talk about this drone scene that I got into. So Shani, for Christmas, got me a camera drone, and it's a Holy Stone 720 something camera drone, and basically it's a drone that you fly that has a camera on it, obviously, and these types are made to like take video, and there's another type of drone that's called FPV, first person view. That's the one that I was showing you. Those also have a camera, but you wear goggles, and you get a first person view of the drone while you're flying it around. So those are more meant for like the sport of flying it or racing or something. But yeah, basically it just kind of sparked a little obsession with me when she got it for me, and I was flying it every single day and getting really into it. So I still kind of want to buy one of these FPV drones, but with the move and everything and starting a new job, I didn't want to spend extra money on that. But
I just looked up a drone fact, and it's pretty interesting. The drone services market size is expected to grow from $4.4 billion in 2018 to $63.6 billion by 2025. And Insider Intelligence predicts consumer drone shipments will hit 29 million by the end of 2021.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
It is. Well, I know...
the future is definitely like Amazon sending drones for your Prime.
Yeah, right. And in certain sports, I'm thinking of snowboarding and I mean skateboarding too, but really snowboarding and surfing especially, drones have completely changed. Drones have completely... Yeah, it's that snoring dog in the background. If you can hear it, sorry. But yeah, drones have changed how they can film it, you know?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Instead of having like somebody on the shore zooming in or like somebody out in the waves like getting bounced around, you can have this perfect shot like right where you need it.
I'm really dabbling in like in photography right now, and my plan is to have a photography business where I do about 25 weddings a year, and I specifically do like elopement, mountains, ocean weddings, and the focus is very landscape driven, and also like editorial style. And I would love this is like, it's not why I buy you a drone, obviously, because there's me would like it, but I would love him to get really good at flying drones, like real videography drones. And we can
your wishes have been granted. I am fucking good.
And we can use the B-roll for like my YouTube, and then also like he could maybe do that for weddings and stuff once my business gets going. I just think that would be really cool.
Man, I can totally imagine crashing it though. And like, can you imagine like crashing on like someone's grandma like at the wedding?
I would hope that would happen. There are a lot of drone laws actually now, where they don't let a lot of those professional drones that you would want for wedding photography or something. They actually, you have to have a pilot's license to fly them, which is really crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that company, what's the main drone company? DJI or something?
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
DJI, I think it is. The main camera drone company, I mean. They make a drone that's DJI. DJI.
Magic Mini is like their cheapest one.
Yeah, but they have this one that's like the exact 0.1 gram underneath the size they for certain regulations, so you can literally fly it anywhere and like you don't have to worry about it. Because mine, I think mine, if I can't fly it everywhere. I think, but they have one that's like a mini at certain whatever. The drone stuff is really cool. I mean, so if anyone's into technology like me, I'm always obsessed with new gadgets, you know, new software. I love all this stuff. I geek out about it. But the whole drone scene is just very cool. And Shani got me just a great gift. Because you were asking me what I wanted for Christmas, and I was like, I don't really know. Remember? Which was kind of, I was just like, I don't know what thing I need. But I had told you earlier, like in the year, that I wanted a drone. And so you came through on that.
And I wanted to get him something fun. You know, a lot of times there's things that he would need more than a drone, probably. Like we really needed we need new podcast mics, and we plan to get them. I gave him $50 for Valentine's Day towards that I want to use towards the podcast mics. So that was kind of a selfish Valentine's present. But for Christmas, I just wanted it to be completely fun gift, you know, not necessarily something you need.
Yeah. So how you want to introduce the music topic?
Yeah. So this may not be scientifically proven. There's been some studies, but it's definitely not proven, I don't think. There was this TikTok recently, and it was talking about XXX Tentacion, and I actually remember this interview, because if you didn't know, I'm a huge X fan. Not a fan of a lot of his past and stuff, but I was a fan of his music before I knew any of that, and I also do he was very young. I think people can change. I think you can separate the person from the art. I will still listen to Michael Jackson music, and he has a lot of allegations. I'm not saying those are true or not, but there's a lot of messed up artists like in the world, even like painters, and so that's like a whole nother topic, is like being able to separate the artist from their work. But anyway, or the person that they are from their work. I think that he was becoming a better person as he was getting older. He had been through a lot of trauma at a very young age. He talks all about that. And he was starting to do like nonprofit work, really working on himself. And he talked about in his interview with DJ Academics that he doesn't make his music at 440 hertz. He instead makes it at, I believe, 432 hertz, because there are some people that say that it's better for the human body. And I was like, this TikTok was talking about, I think 528 hertz is like the miracle tone. Or that's what the comments were saying. And I started looking into it, and a lot of like meditation music is at this tone, but supposedly people think that music at 440 hertz that the radio is plays like separates the two parts of your brain and is like really bad for your body, and that when you play it at these other levels, it's like really harmonious with your body and can make you feel different things. He talked about some of his music. He played with the engineering to where he could make you feel sleepy in a part. He could make you feel relaxed in a part. He could make you astro project. He said.
Astral.
Astral?
Right? Yeah.
Astral project. What exactly is that?
We don't have to get into that, but I know what it is. I think I've done it.
What is it? Just like tripping, not on drugs?
Kind of. It's like you go into a different dimension, basically, with your spirit.
I've done
it. No, seriously, I have told you that.
Yeah, I know.
We don't have to explain that. But this thing about the hertz, I was bringing up this video that I was editing because I want to see if this is the same thing. When you edit, like when you do like EQ, you know what I'm talking about? Isn't this the hertz? But yes, keep talking.
I mean, that's really all I had to say. I just think it's super interesting, and I think that sometimes science is behind spirituality and healing and a lot of these old, what do you call it? Old
practices?
These older practices that, astrology and Chinese medicine.
Yeah, this is hertz. See how it says the hertz right there?
Yeah.
So like if it was 528 or whatever, you could turn up basically like the volume, I guess, of that frequency. That's interesting. Yeah.
I just think, a lot of, I think science is behind sometimes, and that we're going to find out. Like, if you look back in the past, we did a lot of stupid things. We used to drain when we were sick, we would drain our entire bodies of blood because they thought that was like getting the sickness out, and then that was killing everyone. And I just think that, I'm not saying that we're going to look back and be like, oh my God, the music really was of the devil. It was ruining all of our brains. But I'm just saying, I think there are some things that we do that someday we're going to realize that they weren't that great for us, and that there's better ways. And I think we need to be open-minded to those ways and try.
We're going to realize that the Diet Coke is really a health elixir.
But speaking of health,
everybody talks about artificial sweeteners. They don't know what they're talking about.
Speaking of health, let's go into that topic.
Yeah, so I was reading this article. Who's it by again? I want to give you guys a shout out, and we could put the link of the article. Man, my internet's not working. Can you click on that article? Basically, it's about ketosis, and it looks like the site's down or something. Man, Marty Keller, I want to say is his name. But yeah, it's basically.
Is it the book? The Case for Keto?
Well, he was kind of responding to that.
Gary Tops.
The guy's name is Marty. Dude, why can't I get to his site? It's so weird. The guy's name is Marty, and he has this thing called nutrition optimization. Optimizing Nutrition is his company. He was popular kind of in the keto community because he had this. It's basically a calculator that you would plug your meals into, and it would give you the micronutrients. So
Marty Kendall?
Yeah, thanks. Nutritional optimization. So so everybody knows macronutrients are protein, fat, and carbs, and the micronutrients are basically everything else. So sodium, like electrolytes, sodium, potassium, calcium, fiber is a micronutrient. Everything, magnesium, any vitamin or mineral is a micronutrient. He's big on like getting your micronutrients, so food that's rich in micronutrients, eggs, spinach, broccoli, whatever. Beef is red meat, in my opinion, has the most, but whatever. So he wrote this article responding to Gary Taubes' book, which is Gary Taubes is a proponent of the carbohydrate insulin model of obesity. He's written Why We Get Fat, as well as this new book, The Case for Keto, and a couple other books. Good Calories, Bad Calories is one of his famous ones. Basically, Gary Taubes asserts, he believes that carbohydrates are why we get fat, more or less.
Is that the book you read in high school?
Yeah. This guy, Marty, he wrote a really good article. It was somewhat of a criticism of Gary Taubes' book as well as his ideas in general, but it was a really good article, and I wanted to just point out one part of this article, but I'll put the link below. Maybe his website's going
maybe the government
under construction.
Doesn't want us to
Yeah, maybe that's why. But basically, he was talking about how in the keto community, people will act like, it's all about being in ketosis. And then that's like a sign of health, and like that's what you have to, if you want to lose weight or be the most focused or whatever, you have to be in ketosis as much as possible. And he basically was breaking down why that's not necessarily the case, and that there's two different types of ketosis. So he talked about endogenous ketosis versus exogenous. And
why does everything have to be so difficult?
So, endo is like in, exogenous is outside. Basically, endogenous ketosis is when you burn your body's running off of the fat stored in your body, which is good for most people. Like, if you're trying to lose weight, it'd be good for me.
Yeah, and a lot of people have fatty liver, which isn't always, like, you do see it a lot with alcoholics, but a lot of just American diets, we have fatty liver, and so when you're in that kind of ketosis, it starts using the fat around your liver and your different organs, and it makes you way healthier, makes you less bloated, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
and so that would be good for most people. I mean, most people in America are obese, but exogenous is from dietary fat or ketone supplements. So, like I can eat a day of keto like I did yesterday, but I ate so much that it's like, okay, I'm probably exogenous ketosis because I'm eating a lot of cheese and cream and keto ice cream and like a lot of this stuff, and I probably wasn't burning my own body fat, but I was still in ketosis. It's not necessarily a good thing.
So is the way you do it to get into the good kind of ketosis, is it OMAD or fasting? Is that what you need to do? Pair that with ketosis.
No, I mean, you could be at a calorie deficit, but also, yeah. I think the way you made it sound is like you have a little bit of ketosis that happens just when you're in a calorie deficit. But if you're eating a ketogenic diet and in a calorie deficit, your body is burning like pure fat throughout the day, pretty much only fat, whereas if you're burning sugar, if you're eating carbs and your body's burning sugar for like most of the day, but then it's also burning some of your stored fat. He was not even saying like ketosis is like the end all be all. He was just pointing out this difference, and I thought it was interesting. Because it's true. You see like people do the bulletproof coffee, and they just chug butter and they like put ketone supplements. When in reality, like, it's not necessarily that important to be in ketosis. I'm a huge fan of it though. I can tell the difference for me. It's important to me, but I just thought it was a good thing to bring up. So, yeah, how about we jump into fashion? I like this part, the minimalism. You have less clothes than me?
Yes.
I don't know if that's...
Go look in that closet, and I know you have more clothes in your closet than me. And if you go in the car, you have a bunch of clothes in there. And so I know that Sam now has more clothes than me because when I lived by myself and I had 4 closets. And I haven't bought fast fashion in 2 years, so a lot of it was just clothes I've had for a long time that I try to make.
And she has so little clothes that she's wearing 2 of my pieces right now.
Yeah, I literally have no clothes now, so I just wear Sam's clothes every day. I'm wearing his sweats and his jacket. But yeah, I've the last 2 years I've not done fast fashion and just tried to do like thrifting and renting and make the most of the clothes that I do have because I have a lot of them, so I didn't really need to buy more. That was kind of the whole reason I quit fast fashion is I realized I have way too many clothes. Yeah. And I just think it's horrible and wasteful. And so then, moving to California, we only took our car. So he drove his car, I drove my car. So I had to fit my entire, my huge standing desk, my chair, and then everything I own, plus Layla, in my car. And so it really made us, I had to throw away things last minute that I did not want to throw away. Like my really nice vacuum that picks up really, dog hair really well. I had, we just didn't have room at the end. We got rid of so much stuff. But then when we went to pack the car, there just wasn't room for a lot of stuff. And I had to throw so much away. And I wish I would have.
And giveaway. I mean, I think most of the clothes we either sold or gave away.
Yeah, I went through and made sure it was giveable because a lot of my clothes have holes and stuff in them because I chew on my sleeves when I'm focusing. But yeah.
Yeah, minimalism is great because
I really do feel at least Dom's not necessarily, he's far from a minimalist, I would say. He's got a lot of doodads everywhere. But, so I don't necessarily in the living room feel better because there's no minimalism going on here. But in my bedroom, I feel really good.
Yeah. Yeah. And you did a really great job, organizing the bedroom. And it's great. Yeah, minimalism, you do less and you get more. Because you get more.
And Sam has a whole podcast on it. Go check it out. What's it called?
Levers.
2 other men. And I think they're both bachelors. Isn't that what you call it?
Oh, I thought you meant bachelor's degree, like that.
No. Don't you call it bachelors when they're single? A bachelor pad?
Yeah.
I think they're both single and looking, so
yeah.
Go check them out.
We'll have that posted
both Wash U grads.
We did our first podcast about minimalism and how it's a lever. For the same amount of input you get more output, basically.
And
so
Sam,
you literally do less, you get more freedom, more optionality in life.
Sam has found his own favorite fashion company right now.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell them
I did want to mention that. Fabletics. So it's traditionally, who's the actress who started it?
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson. And they.
She's from California.
I think recently in the past couple of years they launched their menswear, and it's all activewear, but because I know they were going hard with the advertisements. At least to me, they were targeting people like me for sure. They were going after me.
I think it's
Kevin
hilarious
Hart. They
that
got Kevin Hart to be an ambassador.
Sam got Fabletics before I got Fabletics because it's I don't know. It just seems like a girly thing to do is like have this like subscription like activewear, But Sam is super into.
Yeah, so they do get you with that. Like it's a subscription, but you can choose not to pay each month. You just have to remember not to pay. So I don't know. I'm good with my calendar and stuff. Like I haven't paid the past couple months, but yeah, it's literally the best activewear I've ever had. It's the best It's the best clothing I think I've ever had.
Tell them about your sweats.
So there's these sweats. So they talk about each of their clothing have different features. Like technology, different pieces of technology, and these sweats and certain things, or maybe a couple shirts. They say it's anti-stench or anti-stink or whatever, and I thought like, oh man, that's whatever. That's probably not true.
So let's do an experiment.
Yeah, and but these sweatpants are first off they're the most comfortable sweats. They're not too warm and they're not too light either. Like I wear them when I'm out there in the garage and it's like 50 degrees and I'm fine. But I wore them skating today when it was like 70 degrees and I was sweating and I was fine. But the sweatpants literally don't smell bad. And I've worn them for 3 weeks, I'd say, straight. I just washed them today, but maybe 2 weeks. But I know it sounds disgusting, but...
yeah, let's maybe do it.
It's actually not that disgusting. I mean, with jeans...
Let's do 1 week next time.
You're not supposed to wash your jeans. I know, but yeah, for all my guys out there who want some great sweatpants... They're called
some great sweatpants.
They're called the post game jogger. Also the fit and everything. I mean, they're not like the annoying like super skinny joggers, but they're not baggy sweatpants. Like they're just perfect. It's tremendous.
And they look good on you.
Looks good. Yeah, so I love that.
Our next topic is pop culture and something that Sam and I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and it's very trendy these days. Is van life. And speaking of our goal to moving to California, we always kind of were debating between should we move to LA or should we like get an actual place, physical location here, or should we get a van and just kind of live the nomad life. During the winters, probably be in California and warmer states, more in the van because it's safer. Your van breaks down or something. But it's a huge goal of ours. Maybe not necessarily like living out of our van. Maybe we hope within the next 6 months to a year to be making more money and be able to maybe get our own place and a van. But maybe we will do the van to save even more money and wait to buy a house or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, we probably can. Yeah.
Also because we can too now.
Yeah, because his job is fully remote. I have my own business, so it's flexible, and so we're pretty excited about that opportunity. And if you haven't checked out like YouTube videos on van life, they are just so like addicting and entertaining and cool.
Yeah, you'll go down a rabbit hole.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the reason why we could have rented a U-Haul to like bring our stuff, but we knew it was a small house. We knew Dom's had a lot of stuff, and like he already had a bed for us and a TV for us, so it just didn't make sense to bring a ton of stuff into his smaller home that's like already furnished. And so we were like, well, this is a good challenge for us to minimize our stuff to see, can I even do van life? Because before I was like, oh, I could never, like, I don't even think I could do that.
Yeah,
I don't even think I could get rid of all my clothes like that. Like, and then we just did. So this kind of helped us realize that we really can minimize down pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a dream of ours. And I think before we have kids, it's kind of now or never, or now, or I guess the only other time would be like once we have kids and they're like off to college. So it's like now or like 20 years from now.
Well, and I mean, we could get an RV and go on like RV vacations with our kids.
Yeah. But there's something about like living, even if it's just for 3 months, like living like that, I really do want to do it.
It will be a challenge with our dogs because I guess there's laws that if you leave your dogs in a vehicle, people can break in to your vehicle in some states to like save the dogs because they might think that they're like overheating and stuff. A lot of these people that have dogs in van life, they have special setups so that the dogs like are in a cool place. They have like special like fans, battery operated fans, and like whole like systems.
And with the stealth, and you can't really do the stealth camping as well.
What's that mean?
Where certain people will make their vans kind of just look like a very average car. Like it doesn't even look like a huge cargo van. So then they can do like stealth camping where they'll sleep like on our street, but we wouldn't even know. Like on a residential street, where like an RV, you couldn't do that, you know. Mm-hmm. But if you have dogs and they're barking every time somebody walks by, it draws more attention. So, you know. But then also with I've been thinking about I just thought of this, but if we did van life and we had the dogs with us, like we probably wouldn't be doing that many things where we need to leave them in the car.
Yeah.
For some things.
If we ever wanted to go to a restaurant or go see a movie and like just, you know, get away, we wouldn't really be able to much. Yeah. We would have to find an outdoor dining restaurant that would let us
outdoors
take the dogs.
But it's
and they're kind of difficult around the public and food.
Yeah. But yeah. So, did you want to talk about the internet?
Oh yeah. So I won't get into too much detail about what this was, but I have tarot cards and I was picking them, and it said I was going to have a difficult opponent or difficult situation, and then my next one was like. It was like literally in this order. It was like I'm gonna have to learn to deal with my own emotions and feelings, and then the next one was feeling like freedom, and I wasn't really sure what this all meant, but I was a little bit scared because the first card, and I try not to get scared because I feel like that's like you shouldn't do tarot cards if you're gonna like feel like it's predicting something bad, you know. That's not what tarot cards are. They're supposed to be kind of help you. For me, in this circumstance, it was like realizing there's a reason why the world is bringing me this lesson, and like not being scared of the lesson, but like kind of leaning into the lesson and being like, okay, what is this? Why is this happening? What is it that I need to learn from the universe? And there was someone that I haven't spoken to since high school left this like rude comment on one of my videos where I was showing me putting my hair extensions in. And it was just a silly video. It wasn't an ad or anything. And I actually thought I was being authentic and real because I try to document me, like, this is what I look like Instagram versus reality. Like, this is what I look like with no makeup. I'm always on my stories with, like, no makeup and my hair just in a bun. That's what I typically kind of do every day. And then, but I do enjoy, like, putting on makeup and getting kind of glammed up for photos and videos for my vlog and stuff. And so I was showing these new extensions I got and how easy they are to put in. It just has, like, this little fishing wire. And the guy commented how this is the problem with women, you know, is natural beauty isn't a thing anymore, even your hair is fake. And this really struck a nerve with me because that's not the problem with women. I don't know what problem he's having with women that he needs to he thinks that women being fake is the problem. Like, okay, actually none of my friends, I have a lot of friends, and none of them wear hair extensions. And none of them really wear a lot of makeup or get glammed up like me. So I don't think that that's the problem. There's plenty of women that don't do that, if that's not what you're into. But a real man, to me, doesn't care how you do your hair. They look at you like...
You could be bald, whatever.
They look at you for your character, you know? Like, it's just... It's disheartening that... to me, when a man says, like, a woman needs to look a certain way and they think that they need to publicly comment that, it's really disheartening. But anyway, there was a lot worse things that happened when this went down, because I kind of called him out, because to me, if you make a public comment, you will get a public response if it's something that I feel like needs a public response. And when it's towards women in general, I think it needs a public response, because my whole Instagram is, for the most part, for women, and supporting women. So when you put down women for something like hair extensions, when, like, a lot of people have thinner hair and their hair doesn't grow, including me, my hair, like, stays around the same length. And so if a woman finds that it helps give her confidence to put in hair extensions, let her freaking do it. I've used fake hair my whole life, even when I was little. Like, my mom, like, had this little fake hair tie, and we put my hair in a bun, and you put this fake hair tie around your bun, and it made you look like you had the perfect little updo, and, like, no one ever knew it was fake. And I would, like, rip it out, and, like, people would be like, oh my god, your hair's so cute, and I'd go, it's fake, and I would, like, show people. And I've just always been the kind of person that's, like, real about the stuff that I wear, you know, and do. But anyway, I think the whole process, he started kind of, you know, personally attacking me, personally attacking my followers and stuff. And the whole lesson of this was just me having to deal, like, if I want to be a content creator, which is something, like, I'm really pursuing making more content stuff, I have to get a thicker skin, and I have to be able to not let someone ruin my peace just because they have a rude comment and they're having a bad day, or they had, you know, a bad experience with a woman that day, so then they're taking it out on me. I can't let those things ruin my day. And because it really did, it ruined my day. As embarrassed I am to say, it did ruin my day, and it made me so heated and just couldn't focus on anything that day. And usually if it's like a stranger that I don't know, it doesn't ruin my day as much. But it was someone that I thought I was cool with in high school, and I thought I'd always been nice to, and kind of personally attacked me. So it felt very personal. And this whole lesson was just like, you know your truth, and and just be confident in that, and don't be worried about what anyone else says, because if you look at any content creators, I mean, that the stuff they deal with these days, it makes me not want to ever, like, be like Charli D'Amelio famous, like the stuff that she deals with, and like she has paparazzi following her now. It's like really crazy. But it's just constant, negative. The internet is a negative place because people are anonymous, and I do need to learn to just let things go and not bring attention to things, because it's just going to make me more mad. And I think that was pretty much the lesson, was just being confident in my own truth.
Yeah.
It's a long story, I'm sorry, but we're getting real here. We're getting deep. A little bit of nuance with the nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. And the last thing we're going to talk about for the self-improvement and psychology part of our show was what each of us did or uses for both in annual review or in setting goals and like kind of just planning. I'd say journaling. What do we use for that? What do we do? What's our process?
And things to be more in touch with yourself, because we're all so busy. And
not just planning and goals, but like, I don't know, just journaling your thoughts and stuff. I think is important.
Yeah, and I think planning your goals is really being in touch with yourself, because it's.
Yeah, good point. It's not one.
Theo actually said that in his podcast with Jordan Peterson. Like, sometimes I don't want to write. Like, it's really hard for me to write my goals down because I don't want to be disappointed or feel extra pressure, or the fear of failure is kind of like handicaps him from even doing that. And I feel him. It's it's sometimes I get that way with prayer. I feel like I have to be in the right mindset, and that's not how God wants prayer to work. It's just supposed to be like you're supposed to pray like all the time throughout your day and just be with God. Like, it doesn't need to be some formal thing.
So,
and sorry, I'm going off topic, but for real, like, that's how, to me, it is when I'm writing my goals or journaling or setting intentions or gratitude. Sometimes I feel like I have to be in some certain special mindset, but when it comes down to it, just do it, just try. And because it gets easier once you do that, and you just make yourself do it.
Yeah. And so, now it's March, middle of March. So we're kind of deep into the year now, but I still think it's worth setting goals. Even, I don't know, I'll probably look at mine again. But there's these.
Yeah,
I'm gonna link.
Set monthly.
I'm gonna link this thing below that I used. I guess you could use it now. It still makes sense, but it's just like a free Google Docs template. I like having this stuff digitally, and we could probably talk about that. But it's a free template, and it was the first time I did it was the end of last year, and you write kind of things from each moment, like each month of the year previous, and you write some of the things you did well, some of the things you didn't do well. It's just this really simple template that asks you questions, and it's free. And I really enjoyed it, and it helped. And Shani uses a similar thing it's a physical book that I think she showed me. It's really cool. So
it's a planner with a goal setting system within it, which is really nice because I think that, well, it's been proven that if your goals are in the same book that you're using to set out your month and your weeks and your events, that you will look at those goals more and achieve them. What?
The way you said it, that was just funny. And cheap.
Achieve more of your goals by seeing them all the time.
That would make sense.
It reminds you of them, yeah. And the cool thing about Makse Life...
You either achieve them or you're embarrassed that you didn't do them to yourself,
The cool thing about Makse Life is they have quarterly reviews, so you take this test and you kind of see what areas of your life you need to work on more. They kind of guide you through your annual goals, setting intentions, your word of the year.
And say the name of it again, Makse?
Makse Life Planner.
And you spell it Makse.
Makse, yes. And then they also have your monthly goals, and then you have your monthly reflections, and then you have your weekly goals as well. And they have like gratitude building, they have habit trackers. It's got everything you'll ever need. And I physically like writing out my goals with a pen. It feels more spiritual. It feels more like I'm constantly looking at a screen for my job because I do like social media and marketing. So like anytime that I can't be distracted by my phone or my computer, and it's more of like a meditative process and like manifestation. So I like just writing it with pen, but
yeah,
I can see why it's nice to have it digitally like you have, because then you can just very easily like pull it up. You don't have to bring your planner with you everywhere,
Yeah, it is nice, and you can easily like copy paste it, send it, like to-do list, shopping list, whatever. It's just I use Google Docs for everything. I pay like $3 a month to have the extra storage. But what I like doing is a gratitude list every morning. So it doesn't really have to do with goals or ambition, but it helps me a lot stay sane. And you do the same thing.
Yeah, under each day I have a little gratitude section.
Yeah. So I'm sure you have all heard that before. And I always thought it was kind of like, man, like obviously that's just whatever. It's a simple idea. But I've been doing pretty much every day for almost a year and a half, and it definitely has helped my life a lot. Like, it's not going to, if your life's shit and you do that, it's not going to make it, like, great all of a sudden, but it definitely is something that it trains your mind to think of things you're grateful for. So throughout the day, you become more grateful.
Maybe if your life is shit, but then you start doing a gratitude where you make yourself...
Maybe you think it's shit.
You find, and you have to find things that are good in your life. Then you realize, wow, my life really isn't shit. Like, I can actually...
That's a really good point.
Whether if you're able-bodied and you're like, I'm thankful for my legs today. I can actually walk. And there's so many people out there that can't. Or I'm thankful for my vision today.
Yeah, I take that back. It actually can make your life go from shit to great. It's so powerful.
And the crazy thing is
it's not a small thing. It's a really powerful thing.
Scientifically proven to change your brain. Like, I watched a documentary on it, and like, these were scientific studies, and there's people that, there's these monks and stuff, they like tracked their brain before they did gratitude and then after, and like during, like, and there's your brain lights up in different ways, and I believe that gratitude completely changed my life. I was talking about this on my Instagram stories the other day. My word of the year about the year I met Sam was grateful, because I tended to kind of look at the world like I'd been through a lot of crap, and so then I kind of dived into that and kind of played victim with my life and kind of just, I was so hard. And the year that I met Sam, I decided that my word of the year was going to be grateful, and I was going to start looking at the glass half full instead of half empty.
See, yeah.
And then I actually...
Once she met me, she knew everything is great.
I actually wrote down what I wanted in a man, and like my character defects and all of these different things. And then I met Sam a few months later. And then the weird thing too is I wanted to move to California, and specifically Los Angeles, my entire life. And I've never wrote it down. And then like I literally wrote my annual goals, and 2 days later, Dom's calls us and says, you guys need to move in ASAP. And we decide to move in. Like we pretty much decided right there that we were going to. We were going to talk about it a little more, but like never wrote down move to California, and 2 days later we decide to move.
Yeah.
I mean, you can call it a coincidence, but I think that's freaking crazy.
And honestly, the year before, we also said like we are going to start a podcast and YouTube. I don't know if we said that at the beginning of the year, but like we both said we want to start a podcast together in our own YouTube channels, and like wrote it down. We made it a goal, and we did it.
Yeah.
So it definitely is.
And I think it's you give yourself permission too, because I think with California, like.
And honestly, I also think the gratitude list can help you understand what your goals are more. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like once you know the things you appreciate in life, it's like, okay, well, that's where I want to spend my time.
Yeah.
I don't usually put, I'm grateful for my TV, or I'm grateful for Instagram. I've never written I'm grateful for Instagram. Like scrolling Instagram.
I put grateful for social media, which I didn't mean consuming. I meant
you know what I mean?
Ability to connect.
Like doing my gratitude list reminds me like to call my dad, call my brother, call my mom, like spend time with you, like do the dishes. Like it like reminds me to do things like that because I don't know. It reminds me what's important.
And I think the crazy thing about moving to California, I've wanted to my whole life. Sam we've wanted to ever since we met, but it was kind of one of those things that like we didn't give ourselves permission to. And I think when I wrote it down as an annual goal, I'm like, it felt crazy. I was like, we can't do that within this year. Like maybe I shouldn't write this down. Like it's not gonna happen this year, and then I'm gonna feel like crappy that I wrote this down as a goal, But I went ahead and wrote it down, and then it happened. And it's like sometimes you just have to give yourself permission to actually have the goal, because sometimes we tell ourselves that we don't deserve it yet, you know, like I need to make more money, I need to get my debt paid, I need to accomplish this, and this before I'm allowed to have that thing. And it's like, no, actually sometimes you can just have that thing and then you can continue to work on the other stuff, because your location matters, like where you are matters, that for your mental health, or like, you know, your friends and family are here, so it matters. And to have to tell it, it's stupid that, you know, we do that as humans. We tell ourselves like, oh, we can put that off, but we all do. And so I think it's a really good reminder that give yourself like permission to have something that you don't think you need, you know?
Definitely.
Your desires matter. If they're for a good reason.
I think that's it. Do you want to talk about anything else?
No, I think that's good.
Well, thank you so much for watching or listening until the end.
And make sure to tune into our Instagram, Nuance and Nonsense, and let us comment and let us know if there's an episode you like.
Yeah.
And also, or if you want us to interview anyone.
I know we normally don't say this, but if you like or comment on the video on YouTube, it actually does help out a lot. So it costs you nothing, you know, and so we would really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It shows us that you like it. So yeah, guys, I wanted to say we'll be doing more episodes now that we're moved in and we're kind of settled and we can get in the routine. So definitely more good stuff to come. We're going to interview some people here in LA, and as well as do some Zoom interviews with some interesting people. And yeah, much love. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.